Hello, welcome again now to our second one-on-one session with Synamedia, one of our sponsors, and about the subject of fighting piracy with intelligence and getting a real and clear return on investment. We are going to welcome now Simon Brydon. He is the Senior Director of Sports Rights Anti-Piracy at Synamedia, and we are going to go straight to the point. So welcome, Simon. Thank you for being here today.
Morning, thank you.
Yeah, good morning. And please introduce us to Synamedia and its activities.
Well, Synamedia is a large security business. It also has formerly part of Cisco. It's been standalone as a new business now for coming up 2 years. It is the largest provider of video services to the pay TV industry. A long history in the security industry, having started over 30 years ago. So absolutely, security and anti-piracy is at the core of its DNA. And we are the largest supplier of security services globally as well.
Which type of piracy is the most damaging to the industry? Social networks, illegal streaming websites, IPTV boxes? You tell me.
At Synamedia, we have no doubt as to the most harmful, and that is subscription, both open and closed networks, especially IPTV services. These are services that are replicating a sit-back, living room, IPTV, OTT experience. They're in direct competition to the legitimate services, and they are stealing literally billions of dollars of content, both live sport and entertainment services, and they are competing in direct competition with legitimate services, but at a fraction of the price and none of the acquisition costs for content, which are probably the biggest heist in, criminal history. Hundreds of billions of dollars of content stolen free. So those are what we see as the most important closed and open network subscription services.
And how does piracy affect the sports media rights value?
God, well, if we took in Europe alone, there are some 20 million plus illegal subscribers to pirate services. Now, if you took 20 million subscribers and they're paying, let's say, 10 euros a month for everything, all of their content, that's a 2.4 billion a year revenues to the pirate operators. But it's not just 2.4 billion that the industry loses, because of course, if the consumer was paying legitimately for various services, live sport, entertainment, they could easily, in theory, be paying 80 euros a month for their media content. Let's say, and there is evidence to this and our own research through our understanding the pirate consumers, let's say a lot of them at least are buying at least one legitimate service, because that is the evidence that we have. So the average loss per unit, the ARPU, could easily be 60 euros a month. That could be over $14 billion a year that piracy in Europe is costing the legitimate rights owners per year. And so clearly the losses to piracy must have a massive impact on sports rights values and the broadcaster's income. And of course, those two are inextricably linked.
And has the fight against piracy to be led by rights holders or the broadcasters?
Well, we think obviously it should be both. Both stand to gain financially from taking action. They can act independently, but of course we would try to bring them together to act in concert. We would see it as a collaborative effort. Right now, many measures to tackle piracy are taken by rights owners and broadcasters on a best efforts. And we believe we can change that best efforts to a very firm return on investment. We can prove where our actions will return investment, both for sports rights owners and their values, and for broadcasters and their financial models. So I think they need to work together and they need to collaborate, and we would see that important going ahead in order that we can make both sides more money.
And how does Synamedia help the different stakeholders involved in the fight against piracy? It's right holders, broadcasters, and legal public authorities.
Let's start with the last one, legal authorities, law enforcement. We have a large team with a lot of experience in security, law enforcement. And we work with law enforcement and regulatory bodies to try and improve legislation. And also we provide a lot of evidence for legal action. So we, through our intelligence, we can create a whole legal package which we can present to law enforcement for them to take actions, which they do. And then we can support that in legal raids, etc. Secondly, for broadcasters, we have a range of technical and legal actions to disrupt and stop piracy. So first of all, we can help them identify and stop leakage from their own service with technical services such as watermarking and fingerprinting. But more importantly, once the content is leaked from their service, it's out there, it's in the pirate networks, it's being traded around the various pirates. We have a series of legal and legal technical measures that we can disrupt, stop the piracy, and we can give that broadcaster a service level as to the impact that we will have. And next, rights owners, a very important one. Rights owners, they don't have necessarily a direct-to-consumer service. They don't have a broadcast service. So once the content is leaked from their broadcasters, how do they stop it? Well, there, again, we have technical measures with fingerprinting and monitoring and takedown, but we also have a very, very advanced new service called proactive defense. And through that, we are able to identify the whole pirate entities. Our intelligence, we map their entire infrastructures, who are the restreamers, who are the resellers, the marketing layers, the content hubs that are stealing and distributing this worldwide. We map their whole infrastructure, and that way we can take action to deal with the most important, and we can, rather than a scattergun approach, we target the fundamental pirate entities so that by taking action against the key suppliers in that chain, we can bring down hundreds and disrupt thousands and thousands of illegal streams to protect the content. Ultimately, with the view that we make it unwatchable, unviewable, and we drive those pirate consumers to give up, or the pirate gives up because his entire service is disrupted, and they then become legitimate consumers. And if broadcasters and rights owners are prepared to take those actions, then clearly the pirates will focus on those rights owners or broadcasters who are not protecting their content in the way that we would wish them to.
And regarding this, what is the priority to mitigate piracy? Is having a state-of-the-art technology to identify and get to the roots of pirate entities, or improving the value proposition? This is price, flexibility, viewing experience, so the fans subscribe and feel the impulse to subscribe better to legal offers.
We're a security business. I'm firmly of the view that criminality, where that's what we're talking about, massive organized criminality. These people have no qualms about selling hundreds of billions of dollars worth of content. They're also committing other crimes, drugs, protection rackets. Why would they care about, stealing content? In the scheme of their criminality, they'll view it as nothing. So why should legitimate businesses be forced to change their business model in the face of crime? We're there to try and stop the piracy and allow the rights owners and the broadcasters to conduct their business as they see fit without fear of crime. If they choose the business model, that is entirely within their remit. And so we would see that up to them. Our job is to help them by stopping piracy and allowing them to run their business model as they see fit.
Now, does the explosion of OTT services and smart TVs make it easier for pirates to thrive?
Yeah, much easier. The means of distribution over OTT is very cost effective. It's very simple. The massive growth of connected television, smart TV, set-top box. So the audience is very savvy. The consumer is very savvy. They're getting a high quality television experience very easily, and it makes piracy very, very simple, very profitable. And the consumer, with every passing month, knows more and more about how to connect their device, how to integrate with it, and how to replicate a whole sit back living room TV experience. It is extremely easy, and as I say, the sums of money are so large that the cost of entry is so small.
And can you share some views on the future evolution of the fight against piracy?
Well, that's a very good question. Obviously, measures that we take, a lot of them are based around legal actions and how we transform the effectiveness of legal IP blocking, and also how we take technical legal measures to combat piracy. Now, taking actions, we need legal authority, and so a lot of what we do is legal in some jurisdictions. So I think one of the key things is the legal structures in lots of jurisdictions need to catch up. We, as part of what we do and as part of our proactive defense service, we help construct improved legal structures to make current legislation much more effective, transformationally effective. You know, we can transform the effectiveness in some markets of IP blocking. So we need to have the legal authorities and in various jurisdictions move to allow technical and legal advances to stop piracy. And that requires lobbying and, of course, education. The court can only give an order based on what they are hearing or what they understand. So the intelligence that we gather is important going ahead to try to shape and change legislation and jurisdictions to allow us to take more actions.
Well, we still have plenty of time to keep discussing this very hot topic in the sports industry today. I wanted to ask you exactly something that just pointed out now. It's education. I haven't ever seen anywhere, probably there is somewhere, some education campaign for fans, final users, not to hire pirate services, because I guess that could have some result too.
Yeah, I think actually, I think I'm get my facts right, but I think recently in, I think was it Italy, they actually took action against some consumers. You know, they'd identified consumers and they started to take action directly against the consumer. Obviously, it is illegal. You know, so the consumer does need informed, but given, you know, the cost of media, the ease of access, and the really low risk, it's very, very tough. When you can spend €100 a year for your entire media output, or 150 against close to €1,000 a year, it's extremely attractive, both to pirate it and sell it, and to consume it.
Yeah, we still have time, so I want to invite our audience to submit questions for Simon. We still have around 3 to 5 minutes to go. Would you like to add any thoughts, something else that you would like to remark about this important problem right now, because it's making headlines like never before?
Well, Lou, it's a fundamental problem for the whole industry. You know, broadcasters are increasingly moving to over the top. They get both pirated pretty much everything. The more valuable the content, obviously, the bigger the piracy problem, which really impacts, you know, top tier soccer, cricket in some markets, etc. So it is a fundamental problem for the whole media industry, not just live sports. It's a fundamental problem that has to be tackled because it will destroy the commercial models of rights owners and broadcasters. And I think it's one of the most pressing issues. It's why I'm here. I'm passionate about it. I've worked in the sports industry a long time, both as an OTT broadcaster when I started way back, and as a rights owner and rights manager. And it's fundamental for the future of the industry that criminality is stopped. And that is the aim, that is Synamedia's mission: zero commercial piracy. That is our simple mission statement.
Can we maybe compare, since you also mentioned that it's not only sports industry problem, can we compare the fight against piracy in sports industry, what happened for so long before in the music industry example? Is there anything that the sports industry can learn from it?
Well, you know, you can make a case that the music industry has actually had to transform, not for the good. I mean, music piracy was so simple, and but looking at the price point of music, it doesn't necessarily serve the artists in the same way as the old business model is. However, the streaming music industry has evolved to a structure and a price point that it's not going to go back the other way. And that does not serve artists. You know, the royalties they're receiving on their music are a fraction of what they used to. So the world has changed. You know, they receive less money. It's probably also then led to an increase in events, live events, where there's been a growth of people wanting away from the pure digital experience to have more live human interaction events. Sport gets that already. It gets both. It gets sponsorship. It gets its media, and it is, of course, an attendance event already. So it's very, very important, I think, for sport that it doesn't lose that battle. It doesn't have to restructure and everyone start. You know, we're seeing downward pressure for certain key rights in some markets. We're seeing some rights owners unable to agree distribution deals in some markets with broadcasters, directly saying, we are not buying this. We cannot afford it due to the impact of piracy. We have to fight that now, or else if the battle goes downhill, then, and the model changes, it will not be retrievable. And I don't think the music industry and the artists are going to get back from where their model has created now. And sport and other entertainment can't afford to go that way.
Thank you very much, Simon Brydon, Senior Director of Sports Rights Anti-Piracy at Synamedia. It's been a very, very educational session. So thank you very much again for all your expertise.
Thank you for having me.
Excellent. So to the audience, I want to announce the lunch break right now, and we will be back at the Sportv Series Europe at 12:45 with the next session, which is strategies from sports operators in Central and Eastern Europe, with a focus on Czech Republic and Slovakia. So see you then, and thank you very much.
Thank you.